Here is the interview question. What are components in Angular? After watching this video, you can give a detailed answer about the components to the interviewer. So let's start. Suppose we have a website interviewhappy.com. Now here we will have menu component where all the menu items are present, login component where user can enter username and password, then product list component where all the products are displayed. So this is the idea of the component. In the single page there can be many components, and based on the request the components will be updated. So the page will remain same but the components will be replaced or refreshed time to time. Now the definition of the components is: components are the most basic UI building block of an Angular app. Let me show you in the code also. See, here inside the app folder we have 4 files. These 4 files together will make a single component. These files are CSS file, HTML file, spec.ts file and the component.ts file. .css file used for keeping the CSS code for the component. See the CSS code for the component here. Then .html file used for modifying the HTML template of the component. You will see all the HTML code here for the component. Then the spec file is used for writing unit tests for your component. .ts means it will accept both TypeScript and JavaScript language. Then we have the most important file, that is component.ts file. Component.ts is the file which link all other component files like CSS, HTML, all it will link together. See, this is the way to decorate the component. And setting the metadata. Metadata are selector, template URL which is the HTML file and the style URLs which is the CSS file. We will discuss the selector in detail later. When you will generate a new Angular project, then Angular will create first component for you like this only. So this is the default component provided by the Angular framework. So this is the short story of the component. It is a basic building block of Angular application. We will discuss selector, decorator and metadata in upcoming questions. See you in the next question. Here is a short and simple question now. What is selector and template? You might be already know the answer of this question, but let's revise it quickly. Here you can see the app component screenshot. See, the first attribute of component is selector. What is this? The definition is a selector is used to identify each component uniquely into the component tree. For example, in your application you might have hundreds of components. Now to identify them easily, we assign them this unique selector value. So when the single page index.html will load, then this app root tag will be replaced by the app root component HTML. This is selector. Now the next part is, what is template? Here is the template URL attribute. This is the URL of the HTML of this particular component, which is app.component.html file. You can also use direct template attribute to write the inline HTML here. For example, you can directly put the HTML code here. Therefore, the one-line answer is, a template is a HTML view of an Angular component. This is the answer of this question. Now let's move to the another question. What is module in Angular? What is app.module.ts file? After watching this video, you can explain module to anyone. Let's first see the definition and then explore the module in detail. Module is a place where you can group the components, directives, pipes and services which are related to the application. Now let's see the module code. See, this is our app.module.ts file. When you will create the Angular project, then this file will comes with the project. This file is the root module and we will call it app module also. See, the module is registered by this ng module decorator. Then inside it we have declarations where we can declare multiple components which can be part of this module. So a module can have multiple components. This app component is the default component of this module. The next thing is imports. With this imports keyword, we can use the services of other modules inside this app module. For example, by default, browser module will be present in app module. And as the name suggests, this browser module provides services that are essential to launch and run a browser application. And that's why it is necessary to add this browser module in the app module. So a module can import other modules and then can use their services. If you place this export keyword with any module like this, then that module will be available for import in other modules, otherwise not. After this, we have providers in the modules, which I will explain later in a separate question because it is related to dependency injection and it is slightly complex and I don't want to confuse you right now. Then we have this bootstrap which will set that out of the declared components which component will be bootstrapped. If we have multiple components here, then you can set any one of them as bootstrap. With all this information, we will again repeat the definition. Module is a place where you can group the components, directives, pipes and services which are related to the application. If you are building a small application, then root app module is enough for your application. But if it is a big client-side application, then you might have to create more modules. And there are different types of modules which I will cover in upcoming questions. That's it. If you have any queries about this question, then ask me in the comment section and I will be very happy to answer it. Here is a very good question. How an Angular app gets loaded and started? What are index.html, app root, selector and main.ts file? I will share the theoretical answer first so that you can explain it in the interview and then I will show you the practicality behind it. See, this is the process and just remember that. When client sent the request, then it first hit index.html page. Now Angular is used to create single page applications. Index.html file is that single page. Then index.html will invoke main.js file which is the JavaScript version of main.ts file. So what is main.ts file? Like every other application, main.ts file is the entry point of web app. It compiles the web app and bootstraps the app module to run in the browser. Then app module file will then bootstrap the app component. And then app component or app root component is the HTML which you will see finally in your browser. So this is the theoretical answer and you have to remember the sequence. Now let me give you the proof of above sequence. See, here is the code of index.html file. Here we have this loading string, but when we look at the browser, the string loading is not here. So what happened? Actually, this app root tag is not an HTML tag. It's an Angular component. Let's look at the browser again. Let's inspect here. See, at the end these JS files are there. One of them is main.js. So what happened is when client hit index.html, then Angular CLI load these JS files with the HTML file. And now the main.js, which is the TypeScript version of the main.ts file, will execute. Now let's see the code of main.ts file, what it is exactly doing. Here is the main.ts file. Here the main point is this bootstrap module method which is right now bootstrapping the app module. We can change this to any other module also here. Then this app module code, we are bootstrapping the app component, which is also called app root component. We can also change this to any other component from the components available in the declaration part. Now let's see the definition of app component. Finally, here you can see that app root tag which was present in index.html file. So that tag now will be replaced with the app.component.html file, because this is the HTML file for the app root selector property. So finally, the summary is browser will first load index.html page. Then index.html will call main.ts file. Then main.ts will bootstrap app module, and then app module will bootstrap app component. And in the browser you will see app component HTML file as the final output. So this is the whole story, and that is the answer of this question. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any queries, then please ask me in the comment section and I will be very happy to answer them, as my name is Happy. What is a bootstrapped component and bootstrapping module? When the Angular web application will start, then the first module launched is the bootstrapped module. And the same is true for bootstrapped component also. Let me show you in the code. When Angular web application will start, then first the single page index.html will be loaded, and this will load main.ts file, and then this will bootstrap the app module. See the bootstrap module function here. See, this app module is the bootstrapping module. We can replace it with any other module. Now what is bootstrapped component? Let's go to the definition of this app module. Here you can see inside a module there can be many components declared like this. Out of these components we can see which will run first. We can set which will run first. That component name we will put here in front of bootstrap property. So now this app component is the bootstrapped component. We can also add multiple components in bootstrap property. For example, if I add header component here, then both of these components together will be bootstrapped component. This is the story of bootstrapped module and component. If you have any queries about this question, then I will be very happy to answer it, as my name is Happy.